Well, good afternoon folks, welcome to another live video, a live flight here. So we're in Accra in Ghana, it's the capital of Ghana in West Africa. We're flying today for Ethiopian Airlines in the 737-800, this is the PMDG version. We're on stand D3 and you can see the weather's not great, but should be okay when we get a little bit higher up, but I'll put the weather up for you. The winds are 230 at 5 knots with 5,000 visibility. We've got some rain, although I haven't seen any on the windscreen at the moment. Broken clouds at 800 feet, temperature 24, dew point 24, and the QNH is 1014. We're on our way to Kaduna. Those of you who look at my channel will have seen I've just done a review of the scenery. So today we're flying from Accra to Kaduna with Ethiopian Airlines. There are regular Ethiopian Airlines flights into Kaduna, and we're doing one today. Conditions at Kaduna today, they're not too bad. The winds are 200 at 4 knots. Visibility is good. We've got broken clouds at 1100 feet, 28 degrees, dew point 23, and the QNH is 1017. So it's a relatively nice day. We'll be going into runway 05, even though the winds are 200. It's ILS at 05, and the winds are so low enough for us not really to worry about the following wind. So our routing today, it will be an Accra 1 Delta departure, climbing out of runway 21 initially to flight level 80. Transition altitude here at Accra is 3,000 feet. So it's out to Accra, UL 433 to Lagos, Lima Alpha Golf. Then it's UR 778 to KUA. We'll actually be going short of KUA and making a sort of a left turn for a right base into 05, and you'll see that on the way in. So the fuel today, we've got 6,200 kilos. Flight's only going to be about 2 hours, and we have 150 passengers and 5 tons of cargo, giving us a load level of about 87%. So zero fuel weight today is 60.2 tons, and takeoff weight, our gross weight today is just over 66 tons, so we're quite low, with a maximum takeoff weight of 79.3 tons, so it should be a fairly quick climb out. Okay, just before we start up, I've had a look at that fuel figure we had before, rechecked the flight plan in SimBrief and looked at the winds, and I decided that 6,200 really wasn't anywhere near enough. So we've loaded 7,000, just over 7.9 tons, 7,983 kilos. We've upped the fuel a bit, which doesn't change our zero fuel weight, but increases our takeoff weight to 68.2 tons. So having increased the fuel, obviously we've increased our weight, is going to change our V-speed, so we're going to re-verify the V-speeds, and as you can see 137 now becomes 139, 141 and 150. So those are the new takeoff speeds, and the trim remains the same. In fact, the trim goes up by 1, it's 4.7 now instead of 4.6. So that's all set, and I'm happy with that. So we're almost kind of ready. Just about to, what we'll do first is just get rid of all the external bits and pieces. All the passengers are on board. I've set up the MCP there, and we'll get the tug loaded up and turn on the APU and get ready to go. APU's on. Anti-collision light can go on. Okay, we're pretty much ready to go. Let's do the before start checklist. Inspections and security are checked. Oxygen's okay. Yaw damper is on. Instrument transfer switches are on. Pressurization is set. Our instruments are set. QNH is set. Auto brakes are RTO. There we are. Speed brakes are down, parking brake is set, start levers are off, stab trim cutout switches, and the FMC is set. We're ready. Fuel is okay, FMC, thrust and V speeds are all set. So before pushback, the APU is on, the generator and bus light are on, APU generators are on, and the bleed switch is on. So we turn the packs off, we're about to push and start. Isolation valve is set to auto, parking brakes are set, throttles, start levers, fuel pumps are all on, bleed air pressure checked, A system hydraulics off, B system on, packs off, passenger signs, doors and windows, flight deck door, anti-collision light and transponder code, they're all set. So we are ready for push and start. Accra traffic, Ethiopian 55 Lima, stand Delta 3, we're pushing back. Push and start for Kaduna. It will be a runway 21 departure, Eureka 1 Delta, climbing to flight level 80. So off blocks at 1208. Okay, so we're ready to start engines. Starting number 2. Okay, N2 is turning. Let's wait till we get 23%. And we have a light up on number 2. EGT is rising. N2 is going up nicely. Temperature and pressures is okay. We just watch the N2 gauge, make sure we don't get a hot start. Cut out there, starter switch is cut out. N2 stabilizes at 483. Stabilized. Start number 1, please. That's stable. So before we go anywhere, flight control check please. Ailerons, left, neutral, right, neutral, elevators, up, neutral, down, neutral, and follow me through on the rudders, right, neutral, left, neutral. So flight controls look okay. So one of the things I do out here visually is just to check to see if the flight control surfaces move. Yep, those are the ailerons, elevators up and down, and the rudder. Yep, they all work. So we're all set. Let's get rid of the tug. Okay, set flaps 5 please. And we want the trim at 4.7. There we go, that should do us. 4.7. Let's just check the overhead. So we've got we can switch the center pumps off because we're very close to the point where the tanks are pretty much empty, the center tank. We look down here, we've only got literally 11 kilos. So we'll leave that as it is, that's fine. So before taxi, flaps are set. We have flaps 5. The trim, we just set that. Flight controls are checked. PFD is checked. The ND is checked. MCP, we just want the taxi light. So taxi light is set. And release the brakes. Accra traffic, Ethiopian 55 Lima, taxiing now to the hold runway 21 for departure. There she goes. Just test the nose wheel steering. Yeah, that works okay. And we'll put the auto throttle on. So taxiing Alpha to the hold. So this is the Accra scenery by FSDG, which looks pretty good actually. Actually looks better when the weather's nicer. Sorry it's such a rubbish day, but there you go. So before takeoff, checklist to the line. Flaps, trim, vital data, load sheet, packs are on at the moment, the cabin is ready. That's above the line. So we'll get to the holding point here and then we'll do the below the line checks, switch the things on that we need to switch on. Okay, starting with the overhead. Those are on there. Those lights, those are checked. Continuous. Those are checked. Packs go off. Those are all checked there. Strobe goes on, wheel well goes on, logo light goes on. So, for takeoff checklist below the line: flaps, strobe and wing lights, landing and runway turn off lights, general lights, engine start switches are continuous, and the transponder, we need to turn that on. Accra traffic, Ethiopian 55 Lima's lining up runway 21. So there we go, pretty much ready. Now the temperature is high, 26 degrees, but we do have visible moisture in clouds. So, engine anti-ice please. And Ethiopian 551's rolling, runway 21, climbing, flight level 80. Stabilized. We're rolling, airspeed is alive. Checked.
V1.
Positive right, gear up. Gear comes up. Those are up, flaps up. So airborne at 26. So coming up on 7,000. We're looking pretty good so far. Increasing to 250 knots. 1,000 to go. Okay, after takeoff checklist, engine bleeds are on, packs are on, landing gear is up and off, flaps are up, we are clean, and the lights are set. And we're past transition. Okay, let's go up on a full climb now to 350. LNAV, VNAV speed, here we go on the climb. Reset to 80 miles. There we go. Next check will be at 10,000 where we switch the landing lights off. So LNAV and VNAV are engaged, so at 10,000 this should jump up to the higher speed. Coming up on 10,000 now. There it goes. Landing lights are off. And we are pretty much above the clouds now. Lovely view of the coastline there. So engine anti-ice will turn that off. So all looking good out there so far. On the way up to 35,000. So we get a little bit of chop here. So the next thing we're looking at when we pass 15,000 feet, climb 1 should just revert to climb thrust. Yeah, we've certainly just got a bit of turbulence here. Speed's having trouble keeping up. So coming up on 15,000 this should change. and indeed it does. So now we have maximum climb thrust. Nice view of the ocean there. And here we are climbing higher up past the that great big river delta there, which I'm not sure what it is, but I'm sure it'll be something interesting. So everything looking good as we climb up to 35,000. I'll come back to you shortly when we hit the cruise, and we'll have a look at some views around the aircraft when we're in the cruise. So there you go, folks. I'm literally about 20 minutes to go before we start to descend. Just over 5 tons of fuel, everything looking good. We'll come back to you on the descent into Kaduna. See you shortly. Well, welcome back, folks. We've just started our descent from 35,000 feet. We're going down to 5,000. The weather has changed just ever so slightly, probably in our favour really. Current weather at Kaduna, the winds are 120 at 4 knots, visibility is good. We've got broken clouds at 1200 feet, temperature's 30 degrees, dew point 24 and the QNH is 1014, no significant weather. So all looking good. The idea now is to get down to 5,000 feet. We're going to take the ILS into runway 05, all being well. And we've got the KDA VOR dialed in on nav 2 here, 119 miles to go. And we've got the ILS frequency 110.1 dialed in here, which is recognised here. Descent checks are completed. Configuration will be a flap 30 landing. We have the weather and the QNH. Trans level is 6,500 feet. Terrain, our sector safe altitude is 4,000, so going down to 5 it should be fine. Not a lot of high ground around or nearby the airport, but the airport elevation is around 2,000 feet. They go around, climb straight ahead with a climbing left turn back overhead the VOR at 4,000, and our alternate I always have trouble trying to pronounce this, but anyway, I'll give you the ICAO code instead. It's Delta November Alpha Alpha. It's Namdi Azikiwe, and it's 142 nautical miles away, so we'll have plenty of fuel for that. Shouldn't be a problem. And all being well, this should be a straightforward landing. We will use auto brake 3 with full reverse. Hopefully it's all going to be alright. And yeah, hopefully that will work out well. Okay, looks like the clouds increased a little bit. Let's just bring the speed back here, get the aircraft under control. As you can see, we've got a little bit of extra cloud, but everything looks okay so far. So let's carry on down to 3,700. Nice and steady, nice and slow. Okay, got the localizer working there. 25 miles out. I want to get down low enough to be able to do this properly. So set the QNH. Checked. So we should be at 3,500 by sort of 7 miles out. So it should be okay. Looking good so far. So we're going into 05, even though we've got a following wind, but the wind is going to be okay. $1,000 to go, check. Okay, back to 200 knots, please. $14 miles out. Actually bring back to 180. And now 170. And turning on the localizer. To arm the speed brake. Checked. Flat 15. 165, let's arm the approach. 2 autopilots. 9 miles, have the gear down please. We're pretty much right on. 7 miles out. So 5 miles we should start the descent. Here it comes. So gear is down. On 60 knots. It's definitely clouded up a bit. Down we go. So set missed approach altitude, 4,000 is checked. Let's come back to minimum safe. At 25. Lap 30. So we've got the runway, looks a little bit bumpy and violent out here. See how we go. Right, so checked. Landing checklist, gear is down. Flaps 30 set, auto brakes 3, speed brake is armed, missed approach altitude set. That's complete. We're really getting rolling about here. So I want to get a little bit closer. Hopefully can make a half decent landing. This is going to be a bit rough, I think. Definitely on the rough side. Come on.
50, 30, 20.
Well, that's probably one of the roughest landings I've ever had to do, but we made it. That was pretty rough. So Ethiopian 55 Lima's clear the runway, taxiing to the gate. Yes, we can see it's a bit windy. There's the windsock blowing away in the wind on the left side. So apologies about the landing, but boy, that was pretty rough. So let's at least see if we can get parked. Let's see if we can find a parking space. I'm sure we can. Welcome to Kaduna. Okay, let's set it all up. Brakes are on. APU is on. Cut 2, cut 1. Okay, ground power is available. Connect ground power. APU is off. Bleed is off. Packs can go off. Fuel pumps go off. Seatbelt signs can go off. checked. Okay folks, welcome to Kaduna. Thanks for joining me on my flight. Sorry about the crap landing, but the winds were pretty rough. The landing wasn't great, but we managed to get in and we managed to stop. So thanks again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. I will do another flight hopefully before the weekend. It'll be an Airbus flight this time, I think. But thank you very much for joining me. This is Lee, your virtual airline pilot, saying thank you very much, and you guys have a great weekend. Bye bye for now.